Why did America change so dramatically during the 1920s? When we think about big changes that happen in society, we tend to focus on the behaviors themselves rather than on what makes our behaviors change. American culture changed because of the dramatic innovations which occurred during the 1920s. These three innovations were rapid economic growth, the rise of mass media, and technological innovations. Number 1. The rapid economic growth. America had an abundance of natural resources. Gene Smiley said, quote, "This enabled America to become a huge economic power at the beginning of the 20th century." The invention of and widespread of cars meant that more oil was needed. Texas is usually what we think of when we think of American oil production. And Los Angeles is usually thought of as bright lights and full of glamour. Before it was famous for Hollywood, it was an oil field. In the 1920s, it produced 25% of the world's oil. They still have oil fields now, but there just aren't as many. Electrification was also originally used only for lightning. The machines started being invented like refrigerators, washing machines, vacuum cleaners, and radios that also were able to use electricity to power them. Three people that helped with this rapid economic growth were the three Republican presidents during the 1920s. These were Warren Harding, Calvin Coolidge, and Herbert Hoover. All believed in free market policy. The rise of mass media. Two of these mass media were popular music and movies. For the first time in history, America was united by a single media culture. Sheet music became almost a necessity. Congo square, drum, circle, cakewalk, Dixieland, and jazz were all common. Early type of jazz is now called Dixieland. It was first performed in working class bars, especially in New Orleans, where it became associated with drinking, gambling, and bad behaviors. Jelly Roll Morton got into trouble with his grandma when she found out. He said, quote, "She told me that I had disgraced the family and forbade me to live at the house." Movies, when they first were invented, were silent with orchestras in the background, but there was no sound from the movie. Hollywood was just a small town when it was first discovered by a couple of film producers. They filmed a couple of movies and became big soon after. And Hollywood became big soon after. Number 3, technological innovations. During the 1920s, there was a technological revolution. Cars became popular, and prices that went from $850 for a car to $290. This meant anyone could own one, which meant people could live farther from their jobs. Mayor Fissett said they could settle down further away and have more space. The suburb, a significant emblem of North American way of life, was born. Cooking also took a lot less time because of these innovations. Cooking before these inventions used to take 6 to 7 hours a day. Now, on average, it takes 37 minutes. Modern inventions have eliminated most of the time. Because of these inventions are modern appliances, prepared food, and fresh and frozen food. And then, more recently, home deliveries. The radio also became a big part of the American life. It became a common item of the American home and helped spread popular music and news. When we think about big changes that happen in society, we tend to focus on the behaviors themselves rather than what makes our behaviors change. American culture changed because of the dramatic innovations which occurred during the 1920s. The rapid economic growth, the rise of mass media, and technological innovations. Thank you.